Welcome, bienvenidos, benvindos, to the Soccermetrics Copa Libertadores show, part of the SDH Network. The only English-language show devoted to South America's premier club competition. I'm your host, Howard Hamilton, the founder of Soccermetrics. 180 minutes. That's what separates the 8 clubs remaining in the preliminary phase from a spot in the Copa Libertadores group stage. $3 million. That's what awaits the 4 winners should they advance to the Libertadores group stage. Financial windfalls are highly desired, but the chance to compete for eternal glory is sought above all. In this episode, I'll preview the first leg matches of the 3rd preliminary round. But first, we have some breaking news from other Libertadores clubs, and that is Felipe Luís is no longer the manager at Flamengo. A shocking development last night as the Brazilian club, last season's Copa Libertadores winners, I might add, announced that Felipe Luís would no longer be in charge of the first team. The announcement came after Flamengo defeated Madureira 8-0 in the semifinals of the Rio State Championship, advancing to the Rio State final. But to be honest, the die was cast well before that. Flamengo lost the Brazilian Super Cup to Corinthians. They lost the Recopa Sudamericana to Lanús last week. They're currently 11th in the Brasileirão after 3 matches played. It's the worst start to a season for Flamengo in 10 seasons. Felipe Luís had also publicly pushed for a salary increase that would have made him the highest paid manager in Brazil, as well as salary increases for his European-based staff. But he did sign a 2-year contract extension last December. Flamengo experienced the highest of highs with Luís. They won the Copa do Brasil in 2024, and in 2025 they won a quadruple: Supercopa do Brasil, the Carioca, Brasileirão, and the Libertadores. And they advanced to the semifinals of the FIFA Club World Cup, with a couple of European scalps along the way. Felipe Luís leaves Flamengo as the second winningest coach in their history, tied with Jorge Jesus and Flavio Costa. He also leaves as the 9th person in the history of the Copa Libertadores to win the competition as a player and as a coach. So, where do Flamengo go from here? The word is that they are considering Leonardo Jardim. Jardim just left Cruzeiro. He left, I think, in November or December. He is on the market. They are actively talking to him. If not him, who knows what direction they'll go in. Felipe Luís will almost certainly receive offers from European clubs. His contract demands, his salary demands were actually related to his statements that he was starting to receive inquiries from European teams. He did receive an inquiry from a Turkish team last season. So it's really going to be interesting to see where he goes. He has single-handedly rehabilitated the reputation of Brazilian managers, not only in South America, but also in Brazil itself. So he will definitely be a name to watch in the future. But shocking news last night as Felipe Luís has been fired as the manager at Flamengo. And now moving on to the preview of this week's matches in the 3rd preliminary round. We start with the match that will be played on Tuesday between Barcelona Sporting Club and Botafogo. This is the only matchup between two clubs that have met before in the Libertadores. These two teams met in the group stage in 2017. Barcelona's league season in Ecuador is just getting started. They lost 2-1 at Deportivo Cuenca. They're currently in the middle of the pack, but after 3 matches played. Botafogo are 14th in the Brasileirão, but they are in the final of the Carioca Championship. They will face Flamengo. Artur Guimarães is out for the Brazilian side. It's going to be a really interesting encounter in Guayaquil. Unlike a lot of other Ecuadorian sides, Barcelona do not have altitude at their side. So it's going to be an interesting encounter between both sides who are early in their competition, who are just starting to find their stride in domestic league competition. Moving on to 2 matches played on Wednesday. The first match will be between O'Higgins of Chile versus Colombia's Deportivo Tolima. O'Higgins lost 4-2 at Palestino over the weekend and are currently 12th in Chile's Primera División. O'Higgins are a side that haven't been in the group stage since 2014. Their best appearance in this competition was a semifinal appearance in the early 1980s. Deportivo Tolima defeated Atlético Nacional 1-0 in a really bad-tempered match. They're currently 7th in Colombia's Apertura competition. It's going to be a really interesting encounter in Rancagua between Chile's O'Higgins and Colombia's Tolima. The other match played on Wednesday will be between Carabobo of Venezuela versus Sporting Cristal. Carabobo are currently 7th in Venezuela's Apertura competition. They've been a regular participant in Libertadores since their first appearance in 2017, with 4 appearances in the 2020s. But this would be the first time that they would advance to the group stage should they get past Sporting Cristal. Their key player so far in the preliminary stage has been Edson Tortolero. The center forward has scored 2 goals for the Venezuelan side. They'll have to do without Juan Camilo Perez, who is out due to an accumulation of yellow cards. Sporting Cristal, for their part, are currently 11th in Peru's Liga Uno, having lost 2-1 at Sport Huancayo over the weekend. Sporting Cristal are the dean of Peruvian clubs in Copa Libertadores. With 38 appearances, they have appeared more in South America's top competition than any other Peruvian side. Yet they haven't been in the group stage since 2023. They'll have to do without the appearance of 2 key players, Gabriel and Luis Abraham, who are nursing injuries. And finally, the match that will be played on Thursday between Juventud and Independiente Medellín. Juventud de Las Piedras are the Cinderella side from the preliminary stage. Currently 15th in Uruguay's Apertura competition, they lost 2-1 at Maldonado over the weekend. They are the last remaining side from the first preliminary round. And because of that, they have already received $1.5 million, $400,000 for advancing from the first preliminary round, $500,000 for advancing from the second preliminary round, and they will receive a $600,000 appearance fee for hosting a match in the third preliminary round. Their key player so far has been Fernando Barrandegue. He has scored 2 goals in the preliminary stage, including a free kick against Guarani last week. They've been having to deal without veteran goalkeeper Sebastian Sosa. He was injured in a league match. He didn't appear for Juventud in their last preliminary round match. He is a huge loss for them with his experience in goal. But you really cannot underestimate this plucky, this resourceful Uruguayan side. They've really summoned up the reputation of Uruguayan teams, not just throughout South America, but worldwide, when everything is at stake and everything is against them. El Deportivo Independiente Medellín, lost 2-1 to Atlético Bucaramanga and are 16th in Colombia's Apertura competition. Their last Libertadores appearance was in 2023, yet Independiente Medellín are a side that have a reputation of getting out of preliminary stages. The last 2 times that they appeared in the preliminary stage, they were able to advance to the group stage. They'll have to go through this match without the services of David Loaiza, who was suspended due to a red card. And those are the 4 matches that make up the first leg of the 3rd preliminary round. A reminder that this week you can follow all 4 matches on either Fanatis, Fubo Sports, or YouTube, where the radio broadcast will be streamed. Got a comment or question about this podcast or about the Libertadores? Send them through my X handle at Soccermetrics. You can also send questions or comments to Soccer Down Here or to Jason Longshort Longshoe. This show is also distributed on YouTube and Facebook, and you can follow the conversations there. I'll be in Boston for the Sloan Sports Analytics Conference, and on Thursday I'll be hosting the pre-conference meetup for soccer analytics attendees. So I won't have a recap episode at the usual time, but I will have one at some point during the weekend when I return to Atlanta. This has been the Soccermetrics Copa Libertadores show, proudly part of the SDH network. See you later. Hasta luego. E até mais.